Well, welcome back again. Hey, I found a really interesting home movie of my grandfather's. I believe this was taken in 1933. He's on a Pickwick Greyhound Line's bus, and I think it's some sort of chartered tour group, possibly. Now, it took me a little while to figure out exactly where they were going in here until I saw a couple really big hints. Now there's the bus right there. They stop periodically to take breaks. Now, in 1933, I know that Death Valley was designated as a national monument. I think it was redesignated as a national park in 1994. Now I saw these wagons here. The only word I could read is borax. And I realized this must be the 20 mule team borax wagons that hauled borax ore across the desert. It started up in Furnace Creek there, you see in the solid line, and went 165 miles, 10-day trip down to Mojave Center at the railhead right there. It's a pretty rugged road on the way. Now, even though they only ran for 6 years, from 1883 to 1889, it left a lasting impression. This is probably due in part to the success of the advertising for the 20 Mule Team Borax Soap and Death Valley Days radio and TV program. Now, there's some wide open country right there. Now, I know Death Valley holds the record for the world's hottest temperature. I think it's 134 degrees. Now these little cottages right here. I read that in 1932, Furnace Creek Ranch built these little housekeeping cottages. So I think that's probably Furnace Creek. I believe they have the Death Valley Museum still there in Furnace Creek. I know the tourist spot, another one at that time, was Stovepipe Wells, I believe. Now, I think you see here in a moment, you're going to see a little highway and some cars. I think that must be Highway 190. I'm not sure. There's a car right there on the highway. Not a lot of roads running through Death Valley. Now, this tall guy with the tall hat right there looks like he must be a local. You'll see him several times here. He must be some sort of like greeter or local celebrity. And I know there were lots of them in the valley, miners, whatnot. There was a guy named Scotty who was involved with some castle out there. I think everyone's probably heard of. Now, I saw this picture. At first, I thought maybe they'd gone to Joshua Tree National Park, but then I read that there are several Joshua Tree forests there towards the west entrance to Death Valley. Lee Flat, I believe, is the name of that one. So this must be by the entrance or exit of Death Valley in the west-hand side. There was Pete's Place, a little gas station, and there's our buddy with the big tall hat. Maybe someone knows who that is. He looks like quite a character. Little pit stop here at the Kaibo. We got men's and women's. Look, they were kind of anxious for that pit stop right there. Now, I don't know where they're headed right now, what city they're headed into. I think they're probably headed out the west entrance, probably towards 395, which I think was built sometime in the late 20s. If someone recognizes where this is, I'd love to hear. I don't really know. Now there's another scene coming up here in just a second. Well, look at all the trees there. You got a little bit of water. Now here's a shot. I see rail lines there, so it must be some sort of rail stop, but not sure exactly where that is. All right. Well, hope you found it interesting. All right. Aloha.